I'm the leader! Don't be fooled! It's all part of the act. We're still together after all that we've been through. They tried to tell you I was not the boy for you. I love you, love. You love me too, love. I love you, love me, love. This is the real me. Well, did you miss me? Yeah? Hello, hello. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Hello, hello. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, shh. Things ain't always what they seem. All that glitters is not gold, except in this case. Mirror, mirror framed in gold, in your depths a story hold of a rock star who became a monster with an awful name.
Presenting a winning animation from the Kellogg's Magic Mirror competition.
Jeremiah Pinkerton was a very rich man who lived in a huge mansion. Every day, when he came home from work, he would bring a rosebud for his youngest daughter, Beauty. His other children demanded more expensive presents. One terrible day, Jeremiah lost all of his money. His family had to be dragged to a grotty shack in Tin Town. His grumpy children went to bed and refused to get up. The only one who didn't was Beauty. She cheered herself up by playing her favourite record. This was by Trevor Prince, a singer who'd mysteriously disappeared a few years before. One afternoon, Jeremiah sat in the Candy Castle Cafe. I haven't even got enough money to buy Beauty her rosebud. There in front of him was a plastic rose. Quickly, he took it. Suddenly, the door slammed and locked itself. Where do you suppose you're taking my rose? Woo! This was actually the spiny-legged Wart Groveller, but to make it easier, we'll simply call it Spiny. Those who steal must make a deal. But I've nothing to give you. Bring your daughter to stay with me, and I'll spare your life and let you be. Jeremiah had to agree to this, and with that, was put into a big black car and whisked back to Tin Town. Seeing the car arrive, his delighted children rushed outside to be greeted by the awful news. This sent them howling back to their bed. Poor Beauty was very upset. I have to go to the beast to save Father, she thought. So she climbed into the waiting car. This quickly took her and Jeremiah back to Candy Castle. In the entrance hall, the lights on the wall counted the lift down. The doors opened, revealing a creature far uglier than Beauty had expected. But she remained calm, didn't show her fear. Beauty, when you came today, did you know you'd have to stay? Yes. Outside's a car that's full of booty. Take it and go as payment for Beauty. Jeremiah left, and Beauty fell onto her bed and cried herself to sleep. While sleeping, she dreamt of her idol, Trevor Prince. Don't be fooled by appearances, for nothing is as it seems. Only you can save me from this terrible fate. Beauty was just about to ask what he meant when...
Beauty! Beauty!
Poor Beauty was very confused. Is Trevor also a prisoner? If so, I must find and rescue him. Well, she didn't find Trevor, but she did discover what a magical place Candy Castle was. At the end of the day, Beauty was glad to find Spiny waiting with her supper. As she ate, she realised that he wasn't as frightening as she'd first thought. However, he shocked her when he asked her if she thought she could ever love him. No. That night, she again dreamt of Trevor. Don't be unkind and make me sad. Think with your heart and not with your head. Now, she was even more determined to find him. Behind every door was a fresh surprise. Never was it Trevor. As time went by, she began to miss her family. So one night, she asked Spiny if she could go to visit them.
If you hate me so much, then you must go. I love you so much that I can't say no.
I don't hate you at all, I just miss my family. If you let me go for 2 months, I promise to come back.
Go to sleep, and when you wake, you'll find yourself at home. Remember that my heart will break if you don't return. In 2 months' time, take this ring and turn it on your thumb. Say, I must see my beast again, and back to me you'll come.
Sure enough, she woke to find herself back with her family, who were very pleased to see her. Even so, Beauty was still troubled by her dreams of Trevor. So one day, she asked Jeremiah what he thought they meant.
It could be that Trevor is talking about Spiny, and he's telling you that although he's ugly, his heart is good.
Now, this set Beauty thinking about Spiny. She loved her family, but frankly, their lifestyle was dull. Even so, she let 2 months pass because it was so hard to say goodbye. One night, in a terrible dream, she found Spiny lying under a tree.
See what happens when people break their promises.
Beauty woke very scared. I wish to see my Spiny again. Next morning, she found herself back at Candy Castle. Of course, Spiny was there, just as she'd seen him in the dream. Oh, why didn't I keep my promise? Some of her tears fell onto Spiny's face. And suddenly, his eyes opened, and he smiled. You're alive!
Yes, Beauty. Your tears have saved me. Do you love me? Will you marry me?
Yes, I will marry you. Suddenly, there was a blinding flash, and where Spiny had been stood Trevor Prince. Beauty didn't know what was going on until Trevor explained. I once refused to marry an evil old witch.
If I can't have you, then nobody will.
In a flash, I found myself here at Candy Castle, transformed into the spiny-legged Wart Groveller. The only thing that could break her spell was for someone to love me and agree to marry me as I was. Beauty and Trevor's wedding was a splendid affair, after which they returned to Candy Castle and, not surprisingly, lived happily ever after.
Home.